Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, April 21st, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. It's WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix, the night after WrestleMania 41, night 1 and night 2. I know we are going to have appearances by John Cena as well as main event Jey Uso, just like you can see on the thumb that I made. And there should be a few other surprises entail here on Monday night. Let's go, baby. I am ready. Not sure what kind of matches we're going to get. We'll see storylines, how they're going to line up. Obviously, we had a few big surprises. We had some matches that underwhelmed a little bit. We had some belt changes. Dirty Dom getting the belt. I assume a feud with Finn is incoming very soon. Braun Breaker, obviously no longer champion. So we'll see what direction they go with him. And then obviously a guy with a lot of talent, and Jacob Fatu. I didn't think a lot of people were feeling that he was going to get gold this early like Dom, but that's what makes WWE interesting. And I can't wait to be able to see what we get here for the next 2.5 hours on Monday Night Raw. Daniel in the building, what's good? Go Mariners. Best record in MLB in the last 10 games, 8-2. That's best in the American League and the National League. And I will be doing the Boston Red Sox versus the Seattle Mariners in Boston tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, on top of the NFL draft on Thursday evening as well. Let's go. And they're going to do a little recap here of WrestleMania. And obviously there was a few underwhelming, aspects, of, night 1 and night 2. Night 1, I feel the crowd definitely brought the event down. And if the crowd was a little bit more like night 2, maybe night 1 would have been an 8, 9, or 10, or closer to that number instead of maybe like a 7 and a 7.5 overall. And then I feel night 2 overall, was like a 9, 9.5, 10, except we just really didn't get the ending that we thought we were going to get. But I feel that the reason why they did that, is long-term storytelling. And I would assume at the end of the year, Cody will get the belt back from Cena. So there's going to be a few more events. We were all hoping The Rock was going to show up with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, with Travis Scott, to have the 5 of them, Cena, Rock, Travis Scott, Heyman, Rollins standing over Cody. But again, that is not the direction that they went. Obviously, with the big reveal that we had a couple months ago, this would have been an amazing ending, for WrestleMania 41, night number 2. But again, sometimes you don't get what you want. And I know I've been hearing people criticizing Triple H and a few others for that particular ending. But you always have to remember there's always a reason and a method to the madness. And you're never going to make everyone happy, especially in the internet wrestling community and wrestling fans across the globe. But, even though, that ending may have not been what a lot of us wanted, I do think it is going to shape up, pretty nicely for the rest of the year. And can't wait to be able to see what we get here tonight. 17-time champ, John Cena. I see you. Can't see me, he says. Let's go, baby. But main event on night number 1 with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. Love that. I would say my sleeper match, probably my second favorite match after that, was probably LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. I'm happy that main event Jey Uso won, but overall the match really wasn't that great. The belt changes are always cool. And then highlights, obviously, on night number 2, Dom winning in the Fatal 4-Way, which was pretty big. I'm not sure if a lot of people thought that, Dom would win, assuming that would be maybe the third choice for most. Finn last, Dom third, Braun retaining or maybe Penta getting the belt, based on kind of the run and the popularity. But again, sometimes you end up getting surprised for the better. And when it's all said and done, Dominic Mysterio might end up being bigger than his dad, Ray. And obviously his title reign starts maybe a little sooner, like Jacob Fatu, than we were expecting, but I'm here for it. And then obviously the main event. Again, I feel like the match was pretty good, but the ending really, wasn't what people were expecting. But if you go back to the Vince McMahon era, a lot of the endings weren't really what a lot of the fans wanted. It was wrestling in his vision. And, everything that they built up for Cody Rhodes, for like Travis Scott to come out, the kind of the Dennis Rodman of the NWO, a little underwhelming. It would have been much better if that was The Rock. But again, I imagine The Rock didn't want to be there, based off storytelling and having Cena to have his moment, not having to share the moment with The Rock. But at some point, we're going to see, I assume, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, right, with Cena and Rock and Travis Scott. And we might have to wait a few months for that, but we will see. And if Paul Heyman starts to start a faction, that will be very interesting as well. Seth dripping with the mustard yellow suit, top to bottom. Great to see Becky Lynch come back as well. Let's freaking go. Oh, nice. We got Becky and Lyra with a rematch versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. I like that. Oh, Dirty Dom. What's good? Penta and Dom for the IC championship. They better not have him drop it in one night. Oh, main event, Jey Uso. Let's go. Oh, here we go. See if Cena cuts a little bit of a promo here. Let's go, baby. You know what it is. Curious to see what feuds that we end up getting. If we end up getting, Cody will have a little time off. So you would assume maybe John Cena, Randy Orton, John Cena, CM Punk. I mean, there's definitely a few, rivalries that you can end up kind of crossing off and, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. But it will be interesting to see where they decide to go in these next few months since we're already in April. Obviously, we assume Cody will get the rematch towards the end of the year. But in between, interested to see where direction they go. Maybe Braun Breaker, obviously dropping one belt will open up the door for him to go for another. So we'll see where they end up going. But Cody should be off TV. He deserves a little bit of a break after holding down the company as the main face for quite some time. But again, we will get some new rivalries. And again, sometimes, as fans, we don't get what we want. But again, there's always going to be long-term storytelling. And I assume that the main reason they didn't have The Rock show up, they wanted to have Cena to have his own moment without, someone as big as him, in the ring with him at that time. But at some point, we'll see what kind of faction emerges. Braun Breaker would make a great Paul Heyman guy with Seth Rollins. Maybe we end up getting that. Maybe we get Braun Breaker versus John Cena. Maybe we get CM Punk versus John Cena. Maybe we get Randy Orton versus John Cena. But we'll get the Cody Rhodes rematch. And I imagine at the end, either Cody will, lose again, and then he'll keep that belt, and then they'll have to make a new one. or Cody will get the belt back at the very last event as John walks off into the sunset. So there's a number of ways they can kind of go about this, but there's definitely a few decent matches here on the card, and anything that is a Mania, after you have this period with Monday Night Raw. Raw after Mania or after any big PLE is typically pretty interesting. Lenny in the building, what's good? Sarah in the building, what's good? Matt in the building, what's good? We're going to be shooting for 20 likes before the show ends in 2 hours and 30 minutes, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. And it's crazy how Cena went from being booed with Cody Rhodes, but then, when the time came to shine and people kind of had the anticipation that John was going to win, then they kind of flipped the script and started cheering him and booing Cody. The fans are definitely very back and forth. And again, we had some positives and we had some, maybe some negatives. Crowd was shitty, but we got some belt changes. Definitely love Dom getting it and Jacob Fatu. Ending for the main event yesterday was underwhelming. We all wanted to be able to maybe have this, right? But again, this moment was already captured. But again, I think that would have been an amazing, end to WrestleMania 41 night number 2. But again, long-term storytelling, and eventually we'll figure how this all plays out.
That my announcement has been deemed disrespectful.
And if you remember, with Cena, he's going to do it his way. So, anything to kind of go above and beyond for the fans, to maybe go faster, he's going to do it his way. See, and it's crazy, because it's like, it's almost like kind of an NWO feel, right? When you're one of those guys, when you're a face and, people kind of take you for granted and, you're just doing your thing, kind of like the Hulk Hogan thing, but then you go heel, but now he's getting cheered like, Hogan, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, but again, we'll see where it goes here, because obviously he has to try to talk shit to the crowd to be able to get him to boo him again. But, again, you're going to get more cheers than boos. Odin in the building, what's good?
You are not worthy.
See, right there, you got to start talking shit,
You think that on Friday you can bully me? And then I step in a ring with gold around my waist, and just because you cheer, I'm supposed to forgive you?
I love it.
Yeah. That's not how a functional relationship works. You, sir, is that the way you treat your wife? No, it's not. As a parent, is that the way
he's got to find a way to get them to boo him, calling out the city, calling out the people, the adults, the kids.
Just because you show up in a good mood, I can still tell you to go straight to hell.
Got to find ways to manufacture the booze by just being an asshole,
You owes me an apology, and you don't have the courage to do it. Oh, yeah, great. Make the noise. This is forever been the show that you hijacked Monday Night Raw. Is that right? You're here for all of WrestleMania. This is a secret.
Imagine if John Cena couldn't spit on the mic, how underwhelming it would be, based off his skill set in the ring. It really does show you how important it is to be a maestro on the microphone. Look, he's got the fans fucking saying, "We are sorry." That's hilarious. They are such fucking sheep, dude. Oh my God. And his point is so proven. The fans are so back and forth, and so many are sheep. Man, like, stick to it. You either love them or you hate them. That's hilarious.
Let me just do a quick once over.
There was some that were saying we are sorry, and there were some that we aren't sorry. So there was a little bit of both there, if you were listening. Tell them, John.
Each and every one of you is sorry.
But again, the heel turn made him interesting. If he would have stayed in his normal, Make-A-Wish, face, John Cena for the rest of the year, I don't think really people would have cared. So this is kind of like the facelift that he needed, for the end of his career to go out this particular way. There we go. I love it. This is exactly what he wanted. Finally, the asshole chants come out.
I may be an anus, but you are a group of idiots. For 25 years, you have called me so much worse. I have taken your best shot and always got back up. What makes you think you're going to be the crowd to crack me right here, right now? Huh? Huh? You mean nothing to me. Your noise means nothing to me.
I disagree. Again, being a heel, there's many ways to kind of go about it, and this is a different type of heel than the traditional heel that we're kind of used to.
36 dates.
I mean, just because some people write on the internet, on like Twitter X or Instagram, and they have an opinion, people are sheep. They love to, jump on an opinion on this and that. John Cena is definitely not going to be for everyone, but it makes it wrestling more interesting, with the heel turn rather than him staying a face and then just leaving. At least the matches, we're going to care about him instead of just being like, oh, this is just another mid-card match.
Las Vegas.
Tell him.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas. 27 dates. Not matches. Not matches. Appearances. Yeah. Yeah. You say I can't wrestle? I don't have to. I just have to show up and do this. When that hits 0, the professional wrestling timeline stops cold. I am not stupid like you. I know there will be another Monday Night Raw. I know you will decide another champion. But the title held by Bruno Sammartino, the title held by Roman Reigns for over 1,000 days, the title taken from me in Chicago by CM Punk, the title held by Triple H The Game, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin comes home with me. I am the last.
And even, again, the ending isn't what we wanted, but at the end of the day, it's all about numbers, and he's number one, based off the numbers. Roman's got a record. Now Cena's got the record with the belt. So regardless on how he wins, we had a vision on how we wanted it, but a win is a win. But I think we all can agree we were hoping for a better ending than what we got.
You heartless bastards. You boo him on Friday, and then you cheer him on Friday, and then you boo him on Sunday, and I say his name, and the man that we all put on our shoulders last year because he finished his story now disgusts you. That's what's wrong with this. And that's why last night Cody Rhodes was outshined, outclassed, out-wrestled, and flat-out destroyed. it's time for you to take a bold look in the mirror. And here's the truth. There is no one in the WWE with the strength, the speed,
Who's the first opponent? Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman, even though they're supposed to be like a little clique. Like, how long is Cena going to have the belt? Is he going to have the belt all the way to the end of the year and then drop it at the very end, or keep it and walk away and then they, create a new belt? It'll be very interesting to see how they go about this, since we don't have that many months left. Still a lot of kind of dream matches with this heel turn, Cena versus Orton, Cena CM Punk. There's quite a few. Cena Braun Breaker, Cena and Seth. I mean, depending on if they went that route or if they're, obviously in cahoots with like some kind of faction that emerges, unless just The Rock shows up whenever the hell he wants. Oh, there's Randy. That might be the first one. I kind of had a feeling that we might get something like this. Bang, baby! And this might be the first opponent. And I think this would be a great way to start off. But unfortunately, if Randy goes against him, he's not going to win. Again, the cheating will happen again, whether it's Travis Scott or whatever. And Randy's about to win with RKO. And then some cheating happens because that's what heels do. But, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this was the first guy that I thought of, big name, both are legends and icons. One's a little bit better of a wrestler and entertaining than the other. And in Randy Orton, and definitely more loved overall universally. But it will be very interesting to see how things play out in the last 6-7 months of 2025. Yeah, Orton, like I said, I imagine we're going to get Orton. We're going to end up getting CM Punk. We'll get Cody Rhodes again after he gets a little time off. Whether that ends up being the match, where Cody gets the belt back or Cena walks away with that belt. They create a new one, at the end. Braun Breaker would be interesting, since obviously he dropped the belt to Dom. So now there's an opportunity for you to be able to, create some new feuds and whatnot. So but one thing WWE has, he has everybody, they have everybody talking, positive, negative. But a lot of the fans are sheep. That's for damn sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. Every wrestler, when they go heel, that's going to be the best version. So if you liked what you saw with Cody Rhodes as a face, which I feel like all of us did, that was the guy that held it down like Cena did for 20 plus years, except maybe a little bit more likable by, some, right? Great theme song, great worker in the ring, went to AEW with Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, created that, with Khan, came back to WWE. They didn't bury him in mid-card hell and kind of held down, the main face, for the company to go against Roman and the Bloodline. So it's going to be pretty sweet to see how everything evolves. Yeah. Just wish the crowd on night one was better than night two. Definitely enjoyed Jacob Fatu winning over LA Knight. That was shocking. Dom was even more shocking, getting gold. But I'm kind of excited for the and I hope that they don't drop the belts. Like, could you imagine if either one of them wrestled today and dropped the belt? I know Dom's going against Penta, but that would be a terrible way for, Dom has the belt for a day and then drops it to Penta. Like, I hope that, okay, if you're going to give it to him early, let him have it for more than a day. And I don't think we've seen anything like that in recent memory, but we have seen shit like that in the past where someone finally gets a belt and then it's like Monday Night Raw and they drop it. Or like 1 week later, they drop it. And, you know, I know sometimes at least you get a chance to have the gold. I like Liv's ring gear. Obviously, her ring gear in the red was on another level, so to speak. Kind of reminds me of NWO kind of vibes with the black and the white. Like, you know, like Jacob Fatu winning, we felt like maybe it's like 6 months too early, but like he's going to get it, but it just was a little shocking. But for Dom, it's like a year or two early, I think, in most people's eyes. You know, he's not really a great talker. He's not really great in the ring yet, but he has been getting a hell of a lot better, you know, since he first came up. But, you know, every once in a while, you got to be surprised. And sometimes we'll be surprised in a good way. And like with Jacob Fatu and Dirty Dom. And sometimes we get surprised in a kind of a negative way, like the ending of the match with Cena with Travis Scott and Cody Rhodes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. You know, like I said, if I could choose one person for Jacob Fatu to go against who matches his personality and his skill set in the ring and gives you that entertainment factor, you know, on both ends. And, you know, definitely Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu one-on-one is kind of like a dream match that we know what we're going to get. And hopefully we get that like multiple times. Like, I think that matchup is so good. I wouldn't mind seeing it like 2 times or 3 times, depending on, you know, who wins or who retains or someone loses and then they get that, you know, rematch or whatnot. But I feel like you don't really have too many of those wrestlers that you could see like, okay, they've never wrestled before, but if they end up wrestling like 2 or 3 times in like a main event, you wouldn't be mad at it because you know it's going to deliver and it's going to be must-see TV. And I feel that out of all the wrestlers that are out there, that is definitely one of maybe a small handful that we really haven't got to see yet, but you know it's going to fucking cook and it's going to be great. I don't really know, you know, and I know we're going to get Dom versus Finn probably for the first feud, but I would like to see something better than that. You know, even if it was Dom versus the Demon, you know, I mean, I know, Lenny, you might like that and whatnot, obviously, since they're in Judgment Day and someone's going to get kicked out and whatnot. Someone's going to get screwed over. Maybe Liv screws over Dom and Finn ends up winning, and then she ends up hanging with him and being the TV boyfriend with Finn and screwing Dom over. I mean, there's very many angles that, you know, if you want to go that some people may have not have thought of, you know, expect the unexpected. So Fatu and Seth. Yeah, well, Seth can wrestle anyone. Let's be real. It doesn't matter if it's Drew McIntyre or if someone like AJ Styles, you know, or a CM Punk. Seth can get in the ring with anyone and deliver. But yeah, Fatu and Seth. I mean, Seth with anyone. Let's be real. But yeah, and another one would be Fatu and KO because they have similar builds. They're both a little nuts and crazy like Braun. Or we can do a triple threat. We can do Jacob Fatu, right? Kevin Owens, right? And Braun Breaker. Now that to me is kind of like Bianca, Rhea Ripley, and Io, where if you ended up having those 3 together, that could really, you know, shut it down. Could you imagine? And then I don't know if they had, you know, I don't even know if you really need stipulations with those 3, but that would be a dream triple threat. 3 guys that are physically built. They're all crazy, right? And they can put on a fucking show. And on top of that, they got a lot of fans that really fuck with those guys on a high level. Like there's Kevin Owens fans, including myself and a lot of y'all in the room, that we love him, regardless if it's face or heel. He's just great. You know, we appreciate what he does and Sami Zayn does, you know, from being from, you know, north of the border, right? Jacob Fatu, we haven't seen athleticism. He's the most entertaining guy in the bloodline, either the new one or the OG. He does things that you don't think he can do based off his body shape. He's a high flyer and he's must-see TV. And with Braun Breaker, he actually makes the spear look cool. We can bark like a dog, and we can actually have fun watching him as well with the Steiner legacy. And the math is mathin'. So we'll see where it all kind of plays out. I am excited to see where it goes. $5 holla. Appreciate you. Stacks Rax, Jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to do for a photo or two. And I got you 95 to go. Appreciate you. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, let's see if we can get to 10 first. And then once we get to 10, maybe we can get to 20 or close to 20 before it ends. Oh, Fluffy in the building. Big wrestling fan. All right, looks like we need 3 more to get to 10, 1 more to get to 10. So if you're in the room and haven't done it yet, please do. We need 1 more for double digits, and then we'll probably end up getting somewhere between 15 and 20, unless we end up getting a boost in the algorithm.
NXT stars here tonight as well. DC Nolan, David Paxley, and ringside. They will face the winner of this Women's Tag Team Championship match tomorrow night here in Las Vegas.
Some Randy Orton. Okay, I'll get them all loaded up after we get this match. Any chance that the ladies drop the belts and they go back to Liv and Raquel? Or are they? I feel like with Liv, she's improved so much. Out of all the females, in wrestling, you could argue that she might be the most improved in the ring out of anyone in the last couple of years. She's definitely up there, in the top 2, top 3 of most improved. And I'm very interested to see what direction that they go, because she's like too good to be a part of a tag. Like, she should be more in a singles run, but she already had her run. And then, and obviously sometimes once you're in a singles run, sometimes they have to pivot and put you in a tag. And then once that blows over, with Raquel, then obviously she can go back into the singles matchups and whatnot. But I feel like Liv is too good to be in a tag, but I understand kind of the method to the madness. So.
In the book a few moments ago for why they lost the tag titles last night. They weren't ready for Becky. They had a long weekend. Typically, they came over here and yelled at us and said, if they didn't lose, they wouldn't be able to become 4-time tag team champs. And literally, any excuse that they can certainly make it. And Becky Lynch and Lyra look very comfortable as champions here on Monday Night Raw. You got to make another excuse, Raquel. Or I didn't understand what you said. You need to speak English. Okay. Yeah, I need you to speak English to me. Well, nonetheless, Becky Lynch arriving at WrestleMania Sunday. It was great to see her. We haven't seen her almost a year. Ever since Liv Morgan took the championship from her, thanks to nearly dominant a steel cage match. We got Monday Night Raw. The Becky return got some retribution on her arch nemesis Liv Morgan by hitting her to win the tag team titles last night. And look at Liv Morgan, wasting a little time going on to Becky Lynch, and Liv is just off tonight. Liv said she would attack Becky Lynch. Well, Becky Lynch is back and is a champion. And Liv wasted a little time going right after the man here. Liv Morgan, a crown jewel champion, 3-time tag champion, 2-time world champion. And Morgan has come out of the blocks hot in this matchup. Shot out of cannon, this Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch. And kick out at 2.
Brett in the building. How are you? You get it finally a chance to get caught up with WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. I know you had some activities, with Colton and some family. I know some people had some things going on where they weren't able to maybe watch both events live, but hopefully you got caught up. Nice kick to the midsection there.
World champion. Tag made by the Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria, who now holds 2 titles. It's like Becky did a number of years ago. By Lyra and Becky.
I figured. That's why I figured that you would. I mean, crowd was terrible on night 1. Couple of surprises, with Jacob Fatu winning the gold. Obviously, main event was nice with the Paul Heyman heel turn in association with Seth. And then obviously night 2, the crowd was much better from beginning to end. Dominic getting the gold, which was pretty cool and shocking. And then obviously the aftermath with Cena and Travis Scott, which I know a lot of us probably would have rather had The Rock or someone else. But to me, the best match over the whole weekend, you could probably say that triple threat with the ladies, with Io, Ripley, and Bianca. That was one of the best triple threats I've ever seen, not just for women, but for men, overall. So, there was, you're going to have the moments in the main event, obviously, with the triple threat with CM Punk and Roman and Seth and Paul Heyman. And then obviously with Travis Scott, which is kind of like the Dennis Rodman of the NWO. They don't really need him, out there and whatnot. But, I really did enjoy, the fast pace and the big spots. And they never really slowed down during the whole match. It was something that would be kind of hard to, match up right after that. And then obviously with Priest, matching up against Drew, intros were dope. Costumes were dope. Obviously having kind of a, hardcore match, definitely helped the vibe. And it was pretty solid night number 2. Agreed. But some people, they don't pay attention. Some people thought maybe it would be CM Punk. I mean, it really just depends on, how hardcore of a fan you are. But even if we feel that we're super hardcore fans and we were able to predict everything in the Vince era, in this Triple H era, we're able to predict some things, but we're not going to be able to predict, everything. Like, how many people honestly thought that Jacob Fatu was going to win? Maybe some, but, maybe people were hoping, but, for that to happen. And I guarantee 0%, thought that Dom was going to win. Like, even if you're a big Dom guy, you did not think Dom was winning. You either thought Braun was retaining or Penta was winning. 0% chance for Finn, 0% chance for Dom. And, it is what it is. Surprises are good for wrestling. That's facts. $5 holla, stacks, racks, and some jack. Bang, bang. All right, let me get some Randy Orton photos. Let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I got you. Yeah, hands down, that was the best match. No question. Not even close.
Amazon Prime member, you can get $0 delivery fees on Grubhub. Go to Amazon.com/Grubhub. Activate your free Grubhub Plus membership and start ordering with $0 delivery fees on Grubhub for top restaurants and your go-to spot. Eligible orders only. Terms and additional fees apply.
I want you to push in real slow. Push in real slow. Well, look who's back doing the live call-in show with Richard Kind. Everybody's live with John Mulaney, only on Netflix. And we cut to the sunglasses and we're out.
Can't wait to see where this goes.
T-Mobile, 19,262 WWE fans on hand. Jammed to the rafters and the flexibility. Five about period. 2 sections
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Paul Heyman going after Shannon Sharp based off his, allegations and being sued for misconduct and whatnot. And Heyman, Heyman goes a little crazy on the microphone. Obviously, if it's just on like the Pat McAfee show and it's all privately owned, it doesn't matter. But when you're like linked with ESPN and all these other sponsors, like talking about the one guy getting deported, and like Heyman will definitely push the boundaries. And we got Seth and him working together. I wouldn't mind seeing Braun Breaker be a Paul Heyman kind of guy, but he matches the personality of each guy, whether it's the wise man or CM Punk, being the friend, or the advocate for Brock Lesnar. So we will see a new theme and a new vibe, not out of just Paul Heyman, but Seth Rollins. we'll see what new gimmick and new catchphrases, new, possibly new music. We'll see what angle we get with Heyman and Seth, and I'm ready for it. Yeah, they're going to give Cody some time off after holding down the company for so long. So, Cody will get another chance at Cena, but it may be down the road. But I assume that we're going to get Randy Orton, John Cena at the next pay-per-view. Randy will lose, but, at least we'll be able to see that match. But Cody will get another chance. And again, at the very, very end, either Cody will win and get the belt back, or Cena will win and keep the belt, and then they'll make a new one. And then he'll just ride off into the sunset, obviously with the records and everything.
Dropped in at WrestleMania because Bayley gets injured out of the How you doing? Keep it moving. Comes to Raw after Mania. Beats the hell out of Raquel and Liv. Lyra now. Back up on the apron. Lyra makes the tag. Lyra's legal.
All right, here we go. I like let's see what we get here. Just a normal suplex or what? Or is Raquel gonna? All right, here we go. Ooh. Here we go. Here we go. Pick her up. She's like, give me some help. Here we go. Oh. Lay down, honey. Over here. Lay down over here, honey. Lay down, down. I mean, I'm happy that the draft is on Thursday, but I don't know if it's just me, but it feels a little underwhelming. Like, I feel like the talent in this draft is the shittiest that it's been in like 5 to 10 years. There's a few, names, Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren, obviously from Penn State, the Nittany Lions, and then you got Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty, but I don't trust anybody else after those four. There's other names, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a very good draft. I'm just being honest. Like, if you actually are being, honest with yourself, look at like a mock draft and look at the names that are on the first round. I guarantee there's going to be quite a few people that don't even recognize a lot of the names that are going to be going in the first round. And then if you go to the second and third round mocks, there's going to even be more. Even if you're hardcore and even if you watch a lot of football like myself and a lot of the others in the room, I don't know, man. It just kind of feels a little underwhelming based off the talent. Now, some of those guys will pan out and be better than maybe their draft position, but I don't know. It doesn't really feel the same as previous drafts to me, especially with the quarterback class being so shitty. I mean, you're going to get talent, but I'm talking about like name recognition. You know what I'm saying? Like name recognition with the guys in the first like 4 rounds. There's going to be a lot of people that are fucking lost. They're like, who are those people? They can pretend and act like they know who they are, but they fucking don't, unless they just go watch like a little highlight reel on YouTube for 2 minutes. But that doesn't mean that the player. I've been watching him his whole career. There'll be a lot of people faking on socials. 2. But we will be doing the draft on Thursday. Mariners play the Red Sox for Britt and Judah. So I'll be doing that game on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they play early on Thursday. And then in the, obviously afternoon, evening at 5, then the draft, I'll do that as well.
Raquel Rodriguez caught up on the top rope. Valkyria dumps him over the top. Liv Morgan turns around. Morgan.
Good counter there by Lyra.
Here we go. Lyra's Already hit Markella tonight, but looking to do the same to Liv Morgan. Markella trying to save her partner. Becky Lynch involved as well. Becky into the 4. Strength of Raquel on display. Raquel runs leading the Lynch. Turn it around, turn it around.
Are they getting the belts back already? It's over. Wow. So just like that, huh? So now Becky can go on a singles run and not have to, at that point, it's like, I know they were looking for an angle for Becky Lynch, but they should have just had Bayley, in the position there, especially if they were going to only have it for a night. And then now Becky Lynch is going to go on a singles run. And I think Liv is better, too good to be in a tag. But again, this is the storyline that we have to go with for now. But and then what's going on with the Kraken, Megan, with Ron Francis firing Bilisma after just 1 year? Man, they are really just cutting pieces, like 1 year. Like, that's it. Like, I know we didn't make the playoffs and whatnot, but we were funner to watch this year than last year, and, I hope that we can find someone that will last more than a year. We had Hack for a few years. Then they said, he's not good enough. Then we got Bilisma for a year, and they just fired him today. That's rough, regardless on who you are, in any sport, hockey, basketball, baseball, football. 1 year? I hope they figure it out. That's a little wild to me. If you still didn't like him, at least give him 1 more year. There we go. There's the heel turn that we already knew that was going to happen. And then obviously we're going to have one-on-one with these ladies. I think we already kind of, again, some things, we're able to predict, and other things, are a surprise. But heel Becky, you already knew if Seth is going heel, Becky's going heel. So that was pretty easy to predict there. You just didn't know if they were actually going to drop it after 1 day or a week or the next PLE, but you knew it was going to happen at some point. Becky's not known as a tag team wrestler, so. Heel versions are the best versions. Calvin, let me know photo-wise, anything that you want to be able to see, let me know. There we go. But I'm not going to do, all 3 days. I got to be able to look at the Mariners schedule as well. But they play in the morning on Thursday, so I can do that game and then get a little bit of a rest as long as the game doesn't go fucking 12 innings like that Blue Jays game. And then we'll do the first night of the NFL draft, and then I'll probably end up doing night number 2 for rounds 2 and 3, but I won't do the last, day, rounds 4 through 7. As far as stream wise, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to stream it. So. Anybody can go heel at any given time. It really just depends on who you go against. And, if the crowd isn't fully into it, then you just start talking shit to the crowd, and then eventually they'll figure it out. So. What do you want to do for photos, Calvin? You got anything you want to be able to see? Good girl, lay down. But I just feel like, been looking at, the draft and the names. It feels like this is going to be the most underwhelming draft in a long fucking time. Now, if there was better quarterbacks, at the top of the board, it would give it that oomph that it needs. And the quarterback class is terrible. There are some other positions that have some pretty good depth, but again, as far as like skill position players, with like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, there'll be definitely some names. But I mean, the only four players that I really trust: Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren, for Penn State, Travis Hunter at Colorado, Ashton Genty. And again, there will be others that will, make a mark, and they may be better than their draft position. But just as far as, name recognition is concerned, it's, going to be a little bit of an underwhelming draft, in my opinion. All right, I got you. Crazy to think, too, if he got this push so early, he might end up being bigger than Ray when it's all said and done. And Ray is an icon, obviously, Lucha Libre. And, if Dom is in the business for 20, 25 years, or a long, long period of time like Ray, it would be wild to think, as someone as big and as iconic, as Rey Mysterio, that Dom, when it's all said and done, titles-wise, is probably going to be bigger than Ray. I mean, obviously, one's a Lucha Libre, and obviously Dom doesn't really wrestle like a Lucha Libre, so it's different. But as far as titles, I would assume that he will have more than Ray when it's all said and done. New Day next. I really like the New Day gear that they had. Had that Barbarian kind of Hollywood Hogan with those blue and black vibes with like the lightning on there. Anytime you have that blue and the black, it just really pops. Sometimes premium wireless for $15 a month at free. No points for subtlety, right? Let's be honest. Premium wireless. Yeah, but it's one thing for like Jacob Fatu. He looked like he was ready, but we just didn't know if that would happen against LA Knight. But I'm not sure if Dom is ready. But again, I mean, this is something that they could have gave him a year from now, 2 years from now, when he gets better on the mic, better in the ring. But obviously, they have a reason of why they're doing this. Maybe control, obviously of Judgment Day, someone gets kicked out, maybe Liv Morgan turns on him and joins Finn, and then he can get out of the Judgment Day, and then he can ride alone and then go after another belt. I assume that's the direction that they're going to go at some point or another. But everything is calculated and everything is done for a reason. But I am kind of excited that, we have something that I don't think anyone really expected, like Jacob Fatu. Crowd still was shitty, obviously, on night number one, but it's always nice when you can get a couple surprises to make up for it. And main events, obviously had their moments, and at least we had the female ladies triple threat. That was the best match of the whole weekend. And, we'll see where everything goes moving forward. Oh, that's too blurry. I figured that would be better. That one didn't convert. Let me see if I can find another one. All right, I think this one will convert.
Selling a car is a big deal. They've had some big moments. Some wrong turns. But when you're ready to sell, Car Gurus is a big help. Multiple offers instantly. So you choose the best deal.
But starting his legacy off at a very young age. Can't wait to see where it goes. That didn't fully convert either. Too blurry for my standards.
We'll put a little extra in this one. I am so sorry.
I'm ready for it, and not really a great theme, not like a whole lot of like gimmicks and whatnot. Kind of just organically came in. Obviously going against, obviously his dad was perfect. Babyface, couldn't wrestle, joined the Judgment Day, ended up getting the proper, schooling and knowledge and tutoring, from everyone that was in the group. And then to see where he's, been in this short period of time, one of the more organically built, superstars. And obviously a way to take that to a whole nother level is putting gold around that person. And even if he doesn't have for a long period of time, that's going to be one of many belts before his time is done. Mexican Destroyer, yeah. But again, growing the hair out, and obviously being paired up with Liv is great. Being in Judgment Day is great. They're, having the Eddie vibes, like again, and Eddie is so loved like Ray, even more so, everything is going to be very interesting moving forward. Here we go. Heel New Day, which is going to be better than a face New Day, especially if you do it for such a long period of time. Sometimes you need to flip the script. Still has quite a ways to go on the microphone and quite a ways to go in the ring. But, I feel with the mentoring from the guys in the back and the ladies in the back and the group and Dom is going to get there. And it wouldn't really be shocking if one day down the road, if he ends up being heavyweight champion, I don't think that would be that shocking to anyone. Same thing for like guys like Braun Breaker. It's just a matter of time and you have to go through the pecking order. It's a dope photo. Yeah, I understand. If you gotta go, you gotta go. We're just gonna be here for another hour and a half, and then I'll be doing Mariners and the Red Sox on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on top of that, I'll end up doing the draft on that. So you do whatever's best for you. STL in the building. What's good?
So get down on your knees before us. Raise your hands to the sky and scream out in unison. Thank God for the new day.
The heel turn from New Day, it reminds me of kind of like the Hurt Syndicate kind of, it's like they're kind of playing off that, like, like kind of that heel turn there that you have over there in AEW with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. Kind of gives me those same type of vibes, but we're just in WWE. Well, considering we're the best record in the last 10 games out of any team in the American League or National League at 8-2, I'm ready. We'll see what happens. I like our chances. I'm not saying that we're going to sweep you guys, but I like our chances of winning 2 out of 3. And if we win the first 2, we'll see what happens on the third one. And I know it is tough playing in Boston. There's no doubt about that, but we're definitely not getting fucking swept. We're finding ourselves right now, and those torpedo bats are fucking working. Cal Raleigh's number 1 in MLB as a catcher in home runs. I mean, we are balling right now. And Julio's not even playing well. We don't got Victor Robles. We still don't have George Kirby. Mariners look like a playoff team, even though it's early. So we'll see where it goes. It should be competitive. But you're definitely not sweeping us. Well, yeah, the only way you will win is if Garv plays every game. Then you might win, but he won't. So you might get one game with Garv. But even Garv, he might be a shitty catcher, but, you know, he's been able to come up with some clutch hits here and there. Shit, even Rowdy Tellez, a guy that should be sent down to AAA, has got hot as of late, and now he's going to be still on the team, at least short term.
Are the Minutemen scared?
Ain't no Minutemen around here. Y'all want to do it right now? Let's do it right now. Get a rep out here right now. The Minutemen are taking up the challenge.
I wish the New Day would rock their gear from WrestleMania. Like that was their everyday gear. That would be insane. Like I said, that was one of the best, like new gear I've seen, from a team in a minute. But I know that was like an exclusive one-time thing, but it was so cool. I'm like, man, I want to see that again. Rusev, baby. Here we go. Awesome to be able to see him make his debut. It was rumored it was going to be this week or next week. And, here we go. You go to AEW, you get underutilized. Another guy that you could see maybe against Braun Breaker or, one of those individuals, Kevin Owens. You got another guy that's top heavy, physical, entertaining. And definitely interested to see where we go with Rusev as well. Rusev and Braun Breaker, right? There's a few guys that you could see. Rusev and KO when he comes back and being healthy. And we're still waiting for Aleister Black to make his debut too. I don't assume that would be tonight as well, but you never know. You never know what WWE's got cooking. Jacob Fatu versus Rusev. We just can't do the whole Rusev Day bullshit anymore. We got to have Rusev come in as this fucking super heel. But he'll be a face, obviously, starting off. I mean, depending on who he goes against, I would assume. We'll see. More of a natural heel type of wrestler, but depending on who his opponent is, he could be considered face. But, big kick to Otis. And another as his shirt turns into an orange diaper. Let's go. And we haven't seen that either. And it's always cool to be able to see like an original move set instead of seeing a move that everybody does. Awesome that Rusev is back. And hopefully they will not bury him into mid-card hell. Yeah, he was actually in pretty good shape. I don't know. A lot of y'all kept up with AEW. I know Sarah, probably Odin, but You know, he was already pretty jacked in AEW. It's not like he, you know, all of a sudden got fat and got lazy and got cut. You know, it's just one of those things where some guys get used, some guys don't. And I mean, Rusev has always been one of those guys that is pretty disciplined, you know, taking care of the diet and the exercise. So you're never probably going to see Rusev get fat, really.
This was the greatest weekend of my life. And, you know, that deadbeat missing WrestleMania, and you and me both having cold.
I feel like the Liv turn on Dom to side with Finn is just a matter of, you know, that swerve that they're going to build up to. That she's going to help Finn win.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
We don't have titles. But you know we have titles, right? Right? Oh. Who's that stuff? Hold on. How's Carlito? He's got to see a doctor. He's still in pain for good reason. Hey, the Buffalo Las Vegas is the official hotel of WrestleMania 41 tomorrow. See wraps up WrestleMania week live at 5 p.m. local. Tickets on sale now via ticket. That place is gorgeous. South Blue Hotel. That's Snapchat in Las Vegas. You check the address.
All right, EO, baby. Glad that they gave her her moment. Still waiting for Asuka to get healthy so she'll have her WrestleMania moment before she retires. But I definitely like the way that that played out. And again, 3 different ladies, 3 different styles. You know, pretty amazing triple threat that we got to be able to witness at WrestleMania 41. Like, I almost feel like if EO was in this situation in the Vince era, she wouldn't really be cheered or celebrated as much by the fans. You know, it's nice to be able to see, you know, her get the love and the support, you know, as being kind of an underdog, you know, compared to some of the other ladies that are bigger, taller, faster. But, you know, she's got that high risk ability like Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, and dope theme music. Definitely makes you feel like NJPW or like some, you know, federation in Japan based on the music. And she's gotten quite a bit better over the last few years. And pretty cool to see her have her moment at Mania.
Every day feels like Monday. Bring the juice.
Hey, did you find the manual?
Yes, of course I found it.
All right, Bryce Miller versus Brian Bello. Okay, that's the first matchup against the Red Sox against Judah and Britt. Next matchup after that, Emerson Hancock versus Newcomb. Both are looking for their first win, but at least Hancock's ERA went down from 81 to 12. So, and Newcomb for the Red Sox is 0-2. So that one could go either way, but probably that will be the game the Red Sox will be heavily favored unless our bats come alive. And then the third game on the day of the draft for the NFL, we play early at 10:30 in the morning, and it's Brian Wu versus Crochet. And obviously, you know, Crochet is typically one of the top dogs. He's like the 1. Wu is probably our 2 or our 3. So that could be pretty fucking tough. 2-1 record, 1.13 ERA. So as far as the pitching matchups, looks like it's an advantage for Brett and Judah and the Red Sox. But based on how the Mariners have been playing, 8-2 out of their last 10. That's number 1 in the American and National League overall. We've won the last 4 series, and hopefully they can find a way to win more than just 1 game out of 3. Hopefully we can win 2, but that might be tough. especially with Wu and the Crochet matchup, that we have to hope the bats come alive, or if Crochet gets, gives up a run or two within the first 6 and we get him to exit in the 5th or something like that. Otherwise, that could be a loss. Emerson Hancock on the mound, that could be a loss. And then the Bryce Miller, Brian Bello, that's 50-50. So, I mean, if the Mariners, that first game will be very critical. If we don't win that first game, we could actually get swept, based on who you guys have lined up pitching wise and who we have. So we will see. Oh, nice. You ended up going to the Guardians matchup. Awesome, bro. Nice victory against the Yankees. Anytime you can beat the Yankees, that's a big deal. Marlins 6, Reds 3, Tigers 6, Padres 4, Mets 2-0 on the Phillies, Cardinals 3, Braves 2. Going at it, obviously, towards the end of the matchup in the bottom of the 8th. Sarah, your Cardinals are up by 1. Blue Jays and Astros knotted up at 0, and then the Red Sox beat the White Sox 4-2. Good win there for Britt and Judah. Guardians 6-4 over the Yankees, and then we have Brewers Giants starting in about 30 minutes. I wish we had some of our better pitchers lined up, but we used them for the Blue Jay series. So we will see. But hopefully we'll be able to get some homers on the Green Monster. We're at 10, 90 to go.
WWE Survivor Series San Diego. Scan the code now to register for exclusive pre-sale opportunities.
Yeah, I would assume Aleister Black will be on SmackDown. They're not going to have Black and Rusev on the same show. So I think you're right. I assume that SmackDown Black will debut.
Visit www.com/events to register to be the first to receive pre-sale information. And it's been quite the week in WrestleMania, Pat.
And we got Talladega this weekend. So I will probably do Talladega even over Mariners and the Marlins. I assume that's what the next series is going to be up after Boston, I believe. So, I'm not going to be able to do too many NASCAR Cup Series races after, being regular during the MLB season. But, if it's Talladega or Daytona at night or something of that nature, yeah, I'm going to definitely highly consider it. And let me see. I believe the Mariners play at 1:10 against the Marlins. And it'll be Bryce Miller against Myers. So I can call both at the same time. But we haven't done a NASCAR one in a minute. And Talladega is one of my favorites. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do that on Sunday. Tell me, yo.
Because I beat best there is. That means I'm the best. Real Ripley tried to forget me.
Hell yeah. That's exactly what I was waiting for. Again, English is not her first language, for all the haters like to poke fun, for people that are Spanish speaking or Japanese speaking and, English is your second language. I mean, imagine going to another country and trying to speak their language, But I'm glad that they gave her that acknowledgement there. Her English has actually gotten much better over the last couple of years. There we go. Spit in the Japanese. Tell him. Tell him. Let's go. Hell yeah. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Surprise after surprise after surprise. And we had a feeling that she was coming up from NXT, but did we know it would be tonight? She's got a very unique style of wrestling too. If you watched her, on NXT Stand and Deliver, A little different than some of the other ladies. This is kind of cool. If you haven't watched NXT in a minute, I highly recommend. Sometimes the NXT will be even better than Raw and SmackDown sometimes. There's a nice group of talent that are on the up and up. She's kind of, gives you, it's not like as emo and goth as like Rhea Ripley. Obviously, it's more kind of like devil, kind of darkness, usually with the horns with the blue or the red, but it's a similar vibe, but not like Ripley, but similar to a certain extent, but completely different as well. But more of that darker, kind of vibe. And I think we need more of that in WWE. So.
Congratulations. Omedeto. Felicidades. I'd like to introduce myself. I am the NXT Women's Champion. La primera Stephanie Vázquez. And I want to come out here to show you respect.
The elf ears and the horns. Yeah, you're right.
You are amazing. I come here to show you respect.
Yeah, interested to see if Paige comes back as a wrestler or a manager, though. What role they have for her.
Ahora yo estoy aquí y yo soy la mejor. I want to fight with the best of the best. You want to pick me? Accept.
What are we going to do? Title for title?
What about
What are we doing here?
right here?
Hell yeah. Let's do it right now. Fuck it. That would be huge. Again. Oh, boo. We don't want to wait till next week. Right now.
I just want to make sure. Las Vegas, do you want the match?
Come on, Adam.
I want the match too.
Let's go. Even with no belts involved, just to be able to see that their styles mesh. Hell yeah. Let's go. I feel like this Raw after WrestleMania might have been a little bit better than Raw of WrestleMania last year. I kind of remember Raw after WrestleMania last year was not as good. I feel like this one is much more memorable and a little bit better. Yeah, this will be awesome. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, Roxanne Perez probably going to SmackDown.
That's tomorrow night. But tonight, Raquel and Nick Scott for bragging rights on Monday Night Raw. A dream wrestling matchup that we could have never fathomed coming into the night.
And like I said, some of the NXT ladies, as well as like guys like Oba Femi, they're ready. It's just a matter of time when you bring them up, but you still want the product to be like, good on NXT. But
These two great superstars have ever met one-on-one in the ring. Let's take down by Raquel and Io Sky counters as well. Io Sky representing Japan. Raquel representing Chile. Right here in Las Vegas, in the entertainment capital of the world. Two champions doing battle. Fair counter team in Mexico and in Japan. In fact, both Io and Raquel during their careers have worked in Japan and World Wonder Ring stardom, not at the same time, however. Now here, quick cover and a kick out by Stephanie. Wonderful feeling out process here between two of the best in the world. Let's see what we got here. The character.
it's athleticism by Io.
WrestleMania, the first female Japanese superstar to ever win at WrestleMania, but she retained her championship last night. Great win by Io Sky last night. Huge night tomorrow night for Steph.
Crowd needs to start with some chants, you know, to kind of get the energy going. And it's pretty easy on, you know, what you could do. La Primera Io Sky. You know, they got to get the energy going. Like sometimes I feel fans, they get too enamored with like the match itself and the moves where they need to participate, you know, and then once the wrestlers hear it, then it kind of takes the match to another level. Here we go. Oh, baby. Clean. Nice job, Io.
Quickly back up on the barricade. I'm betting rebound props on FanDuel. After all, I am the league's greatest.
Okay, we got what, another hour to go. Definitely feels like this Raw after WrestleMania is a hell of a lot better than last year. And I can't wait to see what else we get surprise wise or match wise before the night is up. So far, so good. Dislocated shoulder and labrum tear. Is that really real though? Or is that something that they just put out there? Like we knew Ray was injured and he couldn't compete. And then they had the Ray Phoenix, you know, obviously, you know, as the ring replacement. But I'm curious if it was really true or not.
So, man, we're still trying to get that new place, right? Yeah. Well, check this. Table 5 is popping off. They were talking about all this with technology. There's a t-shirt that can button itself.
I know we're going to see main event Jey Uso before the night is up.
You don't believe in yourself. I believe in me. I think I own it.
That's fake.
Yeah, more for us. The world's most precious resource. What? And the Wi-Fi is booming. Streams are booming. Data is rushing. They're saying big. Booming. Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity.
Bad guys and worse guys. He's stronger than all of the Avengers rolled into one.
Is that all you got?
We can do this.
It's sure.
I won't be watching Thunderbolt, but Endor season, you know, the new season is debuting tomorrow. They're on Disney Plus. I'm definitely watching that. Got a few other shows that are going to be debuting here pretty shortly as well. And these ads just keep coming and coming, huh? Yeah, I would love to be able to see when the time is right for Trick Williams and Obafemi to make the, you know, the next step to whether Raw or SmackDown. Both are very entertaining. Nice headbutt there by Vector.
Io Sky to the second row.
Nice deep arm drag.
WWE and Tops have unveiled these new main roster debut patch program. All superstars making their first main roster appearance will be wearing a main roster debut patch. All the patches will be removed from the superstar after the match and then inserted into a one trading card that represents this historic moment, with a superstar later adding their autograph. Sets include main roster debut patches. They'll hit hobby shops later this year in Tops products.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know how it is once you see it.
Slides through the second rope, blocks the right hand. Big right, Io Sky. The next two on the rope, Io now top rope.
Nice missile drop kick there by Io with the kip up and the roll through. Let's go. Oh, high knees. Two. Crowd is still so quiet. Like sometimes I wish these moments, I think we got spoiled with the European tour, on how lit the crowds were. And then it's like anytime they come back to the, United States, it's like a huge fucking disappointment. Like I want to be able to feel that energy every time I watch wrestling. And I know that's kind of an insane thing to say, but I really appreciate those crowds that go above and beyond. It really makes the watching experience like that much better. And then when you don't get that crowd experience, it leaves, something like a bad taste in your mouth. Like there's something to be, that's missing that you want and you need. Because like I said, the crowd is the biggest thing for wrestling too. Like regardless if it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey, you can have light crowds and still, have it be decent. But with wrestling, it's not just the people that are there. It's about how loud they are.
Incredibly impressive here on Monday Night Raw. She was going for a finish of the SVD there, and Io was into the counter, and now Io Sky rolls through. Cover by Sky for the win.
Two.
Double foot sternum stomp by Io Sky there. Had to take the wind out of McCarran. Very decent. And Io totally bothered by that knee that she originally tweaked, that she came off the top rope looking for a moonsault, and then the dragon screw goes by McCarran later on. Indeed it is. It's been an awesome night to Raw after Mania.
Oh, nice kick there. Two.
Incredible match between two champions here tonight in Raw. Her face was getting struggled off the back. Well, he's sticking his hips. He was saying no more times. And get right to the midsection. Guys over the top, sunset flip. No more times. McCarran got caught by Eve. Oh no!
Wow. Stephanie is very quick.
That was absolutely filthy. Yes. Arnold Moore, you think one thing we're going Sky low.
Nice backbreaker.
McCarran be down and out the women's
2. Gonna get Lenny D a bib.
Feels like the toughness level of the roster here at the WWE has somehow gone up immensely on all parties. Well, again, I mentioned McIntyre had the triple threat last night. Stephanie had a fatal four-way Saturday to defend the title again tomorrow night on NXT. This is awesome chance for one match. What a Raw after Mania. What a debut here for Fake. What a hair. Take elbow by Io. Been a long week back. Doesn't even think so. Io on the other side. That's right from Figueroa. This is wildly Io ducks underneath.
Oh, nice German.
Step on her. Now Stephanie not going to allow you to build any momentum.
Oh, so you get one too. Good match. Nothing like WWE over sexualizing a bum on TV. The crowd was thirsty. They're like, do it again.
Yeah, just an amazing debut for Figueroa on Raw, but in WWE in general, in what has been less than a year. Sky, our champion, taking on the NXT champion here. Neither of them want to fight forever. Both of them want to finish it.
Here we go. High risk.
Up high down. Io almost lost her balance. Oh.
There we go. Yeah, baby. What athleticism there. You know, it's kind of funny because anytime you end up getting situations like that, you know, and then all of a sudden it seems like a lawsuit will, you know, soon follow at some point or another. We'll see what happens with your boy Shannon. We'll find out pretty soon. Roxanne Perez. I'm looking forward to that match tomorrow on NXT. I will watch that. Oh, Julia. She's badass too. Like the women's division has so many like up and coming, you know, individuals, you know. And then you got others like Cora Jade that have just been injured and whatnot. Like the division is super deep. Here comes Ripley. The mommy. She's like, let me take care of you, you little flea. Goodbye. Ripley with a big shiner too from that match and that triple threat. Got to know when to fold them. This Raw has been very good. I mean, this is exactly, I think, what us fans wanted. You know, we want some surprises, you know, maybe a belt change here and there, you know, you know, not just promos and, you know, guys talking or people talking after the win. Ripley's like, that shiner hurts. I can't even put makeup on it.
Wait a minute, pretty clear right there. You can read lips. Something the effects of I'm coming for that. The Women's World Championship. But for now, Io Sky is still on top of the world as the Women's World Champ. Great match with Stephanie at the camp. I'll see it one. Must be 7 8 after being stabbed in the back by a man he considered his best friend, Paul Heyman. But Heyman is aligned with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania Saturday. Welcome here live tonight. And up next, the celebrations of the new World Heavyweight Champion. It's time to eat live on Netflix.
Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, that's me.
As an Overlord Rhodes? In Clash of Clans?
I'm gonna go grab a water here real quick before the eating starts.
Well, this was just a good
They see me as Overlord Rhodes. I'll give them Overlord.
Why has America accepted to wait for payday? When life doesn't wait for you to get paid. Introducing MyPay from China, a revolutionary new way of getting your pay when you want. Get up to $500 of your pay before payday. No interest, no credit check, no mandatory fees. When any day is payday, it's a good day. Get paid with you save through MyPay. Get started at chime.com.
Ding dong! Stop watching. It's that time. And we can winky swear your puppies. Just get past the singers. Upstairs, please.
Miles of flavor, those crispy peaks, 12 flavors so bold, your whole life is complete. Dipped in a lake, man, that ranch is deep. With TNT, bring the flavor, Wingstop.
Here's your iPhone 13 on us.
About time to switch.
Total sketch with you. Hey, good luck tonight.
Total Wireless is in your corner with unlimited 5G data starting at $25 per month.
Hey fam, it's on tonight.
Diego, it's on. Plus America's only 5-year price guarantee with taxes and fees included. Diego, on.
It's on.
With iPhone 13 with 5G on us. With its amazing camera to capture the biggest moments. Total Wireless in your corner.
Well, look who's back doing the live call-in show with Richard Kind. Everybody's Live with John Mulaney, only on Netflix. Sunglasses.
Are you throwing away money on your car insurance?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Try Insurify. We help you compare quotes and save half on your car insurance.
I like it when things are convenient and save me lots of money.
Go to Insurify.com and save up to $1,000 a year on your car insurance.
What's up, WWE Universe? Guess what? SummerSlam, MetLife, tonight, and I will finally be hosting. And nobody better try to be.
WWE SummerSlam, a 2-night event at MetLife Stadium. Scan the code to register for pre-sale information.
We're gonna turn now.
All right, Gabe Paisley, some food. Got her some new water. Yeet. My water bottle froze over.
They told me that I managed.
All right, now I got to wait for that to melt.
They told me that I'm gone. I told them don't. When you've been at this long, and you see magic, and you know it won't kill you, even when the whole world dies.
Man, early Usos.
This is my moment. They can't take my talent. They can't take my
They've come a long ways.
can't erase my powers. Put me underground, anything.
Bloodline definitely took them to a whole nother stratosphere. Because if you don't have the bloodline, you probably don't have main event Jey Uso. You know, everything happens for a reason. Just needs to get a little bit better on the microphone, clean up some of the skills in the ring, you know. But again, most tag wrestlers, you know, aren't going to be able to have a lot of success on the single side. It's pretty rare. But it does happen once in a while where you get some guys that, you know, Bubba Ray and Devon, you know, Bubba Ray, you know, after obviously leaving the company, and Edge and Christian, you know, like with the Hardys, you didn't really see too much, but a little bit with like Jeff or Matt. But
Keep doing my thing, they keep chasing away, thinking that they're gonna be the one that takes care. At the end of the day, it's like who needs it? Gotta keep competing, keep bringing more stuff.
yeah, it's actually been one of the better Raws after Mania in the last 10 years. It's been one of the better ones. Because sometimes, you know, after, you know, a big PLE, you know, you expect all of these things to happen. And then sometimes, you know, it's just kind of like a regular show. But today, definitely a few nice moments. And we still got another, 45 minutes? So yeet. It's just me, Oos. I'll be live at 3:45 tomorrow, Pacific time. 3:45 Pacific on Wednesday, and at 10:30 in the morning on Thursday, and then 5 o'clock for the draft on Thursday as well. And then we'll end up doing the Marlins for a couple streams, and then we'll probably end up doing Talladega on Sunday at noon, and I'll cover the Mariner game at 1 at the same time. Get it? That's cool. That kid will remember that moment forever. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would go that far. I think we all knew that he was going to win. I mean, if they didn't have him win, obviously the boos would have came out for sure. And the simple fact that you knew he was going to win is they opened the match of night number one with that match. You're not going to set the tone in a negative light having him lose. So sometimes the foreshadowing is already on the wall if you can look at, based off placement of where the match is. So now if the match was in the middle of the card, then there would be a chance that maybe Gunther would retain. But obviously someone that is super over, like main event Jey Uso, I think it was just a matter of time. I like the shirt. It's clean. Now the interesting thing is where do we go with main event Jey Uso? Who does he go against? What direction, what feud are we where are we going? Oh, nice. Yeet. Now you just have to have the people in the back cue the music up. Good for him, man. That's got to feel great, As like, even if you weren't a big fan of the Usos with Jimmy and Jay as a tag earlier in their career, it's nice to be able to see, the evolution of someone and then to be able to rise to the top, and obviously to hit that pinnacle and to have gold. Pretty cool, man. Yeah, I was gonna say that tattoo looked new.
The World Heavyweight Champion and
Yeet.
I'm here now. I've been wanting it.
See, all you got to do is just watch Stone Cold promos, just like with the whole yeah.
I'm here now.
It's all about cadence, and then you can start getting on that level.
Long, hard road, though. Road wasn't easy. Man, WrestleMania, I gave it all I had to beat Gunther. And I made him tap.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, out of everyone that's in WWE right now, I mean, probably the most over right now out of anyone. And that simple reason, this opportunity came to light, right?
I'm so happy I finally got this on my shoulder.
Yeah, I don't recognize him not being slurry on his drunk interview. He was gone.
Like I always have. And y'all are excited to have Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champ. Then damn it, let me hear you say, yes.
Oh, Sami Zayn. Let's go. Is that where we're going with this? Are we going Sami Zayn and Jey Uso? I love me some Sammy. Or is it going to be more of like, I'm going to give you a congratulations? Love me some Sammy. I imagine this will be more of like a dap up congratulations type thing rather than a feud. Or a congrats and a challenge, maybe. We'll see. Or a congratulations and a clothesline. A congratulations and a haluva kick. Finally, we actually get to hear the crowd. But again, sometimes it's just a matter of having someone's theme music like Sammy or Becky or Seth to kind of get the crowd going. Usi. Sammy Uso. Tell him.
I got so much I want to say. I don't even know where to begin. I want to let you know, first of all, not being here the last, I don't know what it was, 8 weeks. Not being here while you were going through everything you were going through with Gunther. I want you to know how hard that was on me, right? I wish I could have been there, and I wasn't. That was hard on me. And if I'm being totally honest, missing WrestleMania this year, that was very hard on me.
For sure.
All right, you and me, we're not that different. We're game day players. You and me, we don't do well on the sidelines. So that was hard. And if I'm being honest, I almost didn't come to Las Vegas at all. But I had to. I had to. Because I had to make sure that I was the first one to stand in this ring across from you look you in the eye, man to man, with that championship on your shoulder, and tell you how proud I am of you. You're my brother. You're my dog. You're my oos. I love you.
Waffle House.
You and you deserve that. I know it. You know it. And every single person in this arena knows that you deserve.
Tell him, oos.
Man, look, it's the Raw after WrestleMania. I don't want to get all sentimental. That's not what this is all about. This is Raw after Mania. We are here to celebrate. So hit his music.
So no challenge. So, maybe we'll get it, again, that's why with like wrestling, we always have these like ideas because we've seen it before. Let's see, where it goes. We always, there's always alliances and backstabbing and, like I said, with this WWE regime and era, it's definitely a lot harder to predict. It's like we used to be able to predict almost every match except maybe the ending with the Vince McMahon era. And this Triple H era, it might be the most unpredictable that we have ever seen in the business, which is a good thing. And we got Jimmy coming out. So what are we going to get? We're going to get Jimmy coming out, and he's going to congratulate, and then he's going to turn on him? Are we going that route? Where are we going? Where are we going? What swerve are we going? Are we just doing a congratulations? What are we doing here? I'm not sure if we would really want to see Jimmy and Jay to go one-on-one, would we? Oh, get it, get it, get it. Waffle House. Or just another individual just showing some love.
Everybody out there is happy for Jey Uso. Especially those who have been alongside him through this journey to the top. And he worked his ass off for.
I mean, it would be kind of refreshing if it, we didn't have, some kind of heel turn from Jimmy or Sammy, but it's like you never really know what you're gonna get. But it looks like they're making it more of a celebratory thing and giving main event Jey Uso the night to celebrate. Oh man, Rikishi. Looks like we got about 30 minutes to go. Kind of refreshing. No heel turn, no, I want a match, like let Jay have a moment, like, because I feel like most of the time when we end up having someone, get their moment, there's always like, that next person, in line, just like when we saw Randy Orton, with the RKO against Cena. It's like usually it doesn't take too long, and kind of cool that they actually made it that way. And we will see what feud sparks with main event Jey Uso moving forward. All right, we got 30 minutes to go. NXT tomorrow. I'll be live for the Mariners and the Red Sox in Boston. 3:45 Pacific.
Celebrities everywhere this weekend. I've been eating about 1,000 Snickers a day. So damn good, just like our guy, Metro Boomin, Grammy nominated producer, music executive in the building tonight. 3 times Grammy nominated. Metro Boomin hanging out with us here tonight. Shout out to he, and also shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. We have a 3-time NBA WNBA champ.
Chelsea Gray, Kia Stokes.
Stokes, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, Chase Briscoe, NASCAR Cup.
Documented the life of some NASCAR driver like Chase Briscoe, who's rubbing and racing on Netflix on May 2nd. You want to talk about sports things? What about what Logan Paul has accomplished in WWE? To be AJ Styles at WrestleMania Sunday. This is what he had to say on social media.
I imagine that the three, Lenny and Sarah and Odin, you guys saw the Karrion Kross little interview thing on socials this morning. He started off being in character and then kind of went personal and whatnot.
Sorry, what? What? What's that?
You think that you could have pulled out the win over AJ?
I understand what you're saying. I won, right? Are you talking about what now?
A lot of
Whatever you're talking about is irrelevant. A win is a win. As far as I know, I won. So, next question, Kathy, Kelly?
I loved it, man. He definitely is one of the, top 5, top 10 guys on the mic. They should definitely give him more, than just coming down to that match and getting punched. I mean, I know that there is a lot of competition and whatnot, but for someone that's good, that good on the mic, you need to definitely give that guy an opportunity and a chance. Regardless if he has Scarlett with him or not,
here with AJ Styles. Jay, first of all, thanks for the time. We are less than 24 hours removed from your loss to Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Where are you at with what happened last night?
Not gonna lie, Jackie. It's a hard pill to swallow. But, Logan Paul plays his games and he gets his little lackeys involved, and maybe I was prepared for that, but the truth is, I get that out. But that's okay. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna be okay. But that's the thing. Part of being phenomenal.
Well, I don't think anyone has ever doubted that Logan Paul can wrestle. There he is. That's what I'm talking about.
You are literally.
It's just that Logan Paul is a douchebag.
This is so much more painful because now that you've lost to him, you've legitimized it. Really? Really? You just said it. I'm the best of you. You want me to go back a year ago and be that guy? I don't know why you want to seem so bad. Because I hated the person I saw in the mirror. And I'm never going back. You don't understand. Had I taken those bracelets, and I hit Logan Paul and pinned him in the middle of the ring, it would have meant nothing. You want to be angry at the world? Great. Fine. Don't take me down with you. In fact, go solve that problem yourself. Maybe I will. Various losses that every taker event over the last 24 hours. Yeah, we talked about this over the weekend. I cannot wait for the series.
I mean, there was the rumors about what Kathy Kelly is starting to wrestle, and she's starting to kind of, you know, maybe try to get a bigger role than just to do the interviews, like maybe be a manager or even be like a wrestler. I like the evolution, man. You just never know, you know. And again, a lot of people that just do things on the mic, like with Samantha, you know, obviously she wanted to wrestle. She wanted to be a manager instead of just being like, you know, calling, you know, obviously the intros. So, Odin saw Scarlett get the bib. Dirty Dom. I would like to be able to see Dom, you know, depending on what kind of ring gear moving forward that he ends up using. And I know Penta has kind of a similar, you know, with the mask and, you know, with like the bones and whatnot. But I think that would kind of work for Dom, you know, if he ended up having ring gear that looked like, you know, like a vertebrae and bones and whatnot. That could be a cool look for him. And we got Dom and Penta. What are the chances that Dom drops the belt to Penta right here? Doesn't seem very likely, but I think everything is so unexpected now. I mean, it'd be kind of a waste to, you know, it's like you give Dom the belt for a day and then it's done. But, you know, we saw what happened with Lyra and Becky, but that's, you know, tag belt is not as like much as far as like prestige as, you know, that particular belt, but we will see.
If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll. No question.
You know how tough payroll can be, right?
No, switch to Gusto.
Yeah, I would assume Finn will get involved.
Next day direct deposit and automatically files my taxes.
Taxi. Sounds like you know the drill.
I wonder if this is going to be the last match. We only have 22 minutes to go, so.
Choose payroll without the payroll. That's working with Gusto.
Premium wireless for $15 a month. They can both. Why premium wireless for $15 a month? Why not premium wireless for $15 a month? Let's be honest, premium wireless for $15 a month, am I right? Let's just stop having AI write these, okay, guys?
Athlete for life. Eyes for life.
So the direction with the whole feud with Dom and Finn, where are we going to go? Is it going to end up being like the loser gets kicked out of Judgment Day, and then Liv ends up screwing Dom over and joins Finn, and then Finn is still the leader of Judgment Day, and then that's the direction we're going to go?
Get 5% cash back on everyday purchases, like gas, with the Credit One Bank Platinum X5 Visa Signature. Credit One Bank for what's ahead.
I mean, obviously that's one possibility, right? I mean, unless they want Dom to keep the belt and whatnot.
So, which one of you is next?
You found some way to stop that.
To break the cycle, only two things. If you take a life, you get the time.
Do we see any new members joining Judgment Day in the next few months or no? Like, does Penta join Judgment Day? Is that like a possibility? Gunther? Gunther, Mr. Generic. Like I said, the whole aura, you know, is with when he had gold, but now with no gold, no one's gonna care. Oh, down goes Pat. Michael Cole, huh? What are we getting? A Pat McAfee versus Gunther? I mean, you really want to let someone go, you give someone a big boot to the fucking forehead. Interesting angle with him going after Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. Again, you never know what to expect on, Monday Night Raw. That might have been the least likely thing that you were going to think that would happen. Mr. Generic. He's like, let me go after the ring announces. Pat on a show tomorrow. I got choked out. Yeah, maybe it's all been a setup. He's been, training, and I don't know if I really would want to see a Pat McAfee Gunther match, though. Gunther is not really that, again, if this is the angle that they're going to go, like Gunther loses the belt and then he goes against Pat McAfee. Like, Pat's super athletic in the ring, and he's fun to watch. Just like Bad Bunny and, Logan Paul, you might get guys that now Logan is full time and whatnot, but those three definitely showed that they can do it on the big stage, but Michael Cole and Gunther. Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, and Gunther. 2-on-1. That was interesting, to say the least. I don't know if anyone anticipated that. But again, some people need to have the gold for you to pay attention. But again, now with Gunther with no gold, no one's really going to give a shit on anything that he says in any promo or anything. Like I said, that's the problem when you don't have good theme music, you don't got a good ring gear, you're not the greatest on the mic. You are a good wrestler in the ring, I will give you that, but you can't only have one thing that's good and think that people are going to, support you. He doesn't have the it factor, Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna have an opponent, like Gunther versus Rusev or something like that, I guess, because I don't really want to waste any of like the talented people. Obviously, once Kevin Owens comes back, or Braun Breaker deserves much better than fucking Gunther, so I don't want to see that either. Nobody wants to see Gunther and Jacob Fatu. Like, Gunther needs to go back to facing guys like Sheamus, or Drew McIntyre or something of that nature. But you can only do that so many times. All right. Last match here in the last 13, 14 minutes. We'll have a Finn run in. Maybe Carlito. We got Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. I mean, Penta is cool and all, but it would definitely kind of be crappy for Dom and the whole buildup of giving him the belt at Mania and then losing it the next day. It's one thing for Lyra and Becky to go that route, for her to go heel, but that would be not. I mean, Penta's popular too, like Dom. They're both popular and whatnot, but I would assume Dom will retain. Yeah, the only problem with Karrion Kross, he's a great talker and he's got Scarlett, but I feel like the WWE universe doesn't care. Unfortunately, like, they don't care about him. Like I said, he can spit on the microphone, and he can wrestle and whatnot, but I mean, there's like something missing, and I think the fans aren't really not on, they're not on board with him. Some of us appreciate what he does, but I feel like a good majority could care less.
Everybody's trying to gather themselves as my dear friend and colleague Michael Cole was attacked, and then Pat McAfee coming in his defense, and Gunther put him into a sleeper hold, and this was pure chaos as security was here, and a rear naked chokehold, and he choked him. It was just an absolute disgusting display, wholly unacceptable, and he is in the careful attention right now as we're trying to just get everything settled here ringside here in Vegas.
Like, I don't know, with Gunther, it almost has to be like a triple threat for people to even pay attention. Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
I said just down there, you've been through a lot. We need to do it. You broke my nose. You might have broken your nose. Listen, here's how can we do our job? We're not allowed to have opinions. We're not allowed to talk about this stuff. We're not allowed to have fun. We got to do something. We were going to deal with this, okay? So I want you to calm down.
Michael Cole's a fucking G.
I am not going to let some bully not allow me to do my job.
One of the best in the business. It's crazy to see how far he's come as a babyface, young individual, doing interviews with like The Rock and Stone Cold, and he's still here, Vince McMahon is a POS, type of person, but Michael Cole, that was one thing that Vince, did right by keeping Michael Cole with the company and having him be the lead guy. He is the man. Maybe the only one thing that Vince did right is keep Michael Cole. We should celebrate him for as long as we can have him here in WWE, which is hopefully for a very fucking long time. Michael Cole got the fucking Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. He got the chant before even Cody did.
All this while we're moments away from the Intercontinental Championship.
This should be entertaining. But again, this will give you an idea that they gave Dom the belt. You know, he's not the greatest on the mic, but he's been getting better, you know, kind of in his own skin, right? In the ring, you know, he's gotten tremendously better over the years. But, I mean, as far as like wrestling is concerned, Penta is light years ahead of him. But again, you know, we'll see how this will play out. Obviously, Carlito will be ringside with Finn, and probably will try. Finn will try to make him lose, and it'll backfire. And then once that happens, and he interferes, and then we'll get the Dom Finn feud to come to light.
Instead, a well-timed broad splash secured the victory for Dominic Mysterio, now the Intercontinental Champion, had an 0-3 record at WrestleMania prior to that stunning upset, and wasted no time turning right around with a 24-hour turnaround for his first title defense. Backlash is presented by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm injured. Go to forthepeople.com. I'd love somebody to get us an update as soon as possible. This is obviously very testing circumstances for us as a beloved colleague, McAfee, was choked out by Duckworth. We are here in Surfview fan. Document the live event that's in front of us. So Joe Tessitore and Michael Cole ringside as we prepare for this.
So much pyro. I love it. The modern day La Parka, but better.
Joe, and again, I'm not here to do my job. I'm not going to take away from this match. I'm going to try to add to it, but I do want to make one thing clear.
But also, too, you know, Penta is a lot bigger, stronger, and faster than most luchas. You know, he definitely can match up with almost anybody. Not undersized like Ray. And this will be interesting to see what kind of moveset we get here in this particular one-on-one matchup. Of course, man. They're a bunch of sheep. American crowds are a bunch of sheep, dude. You know how that goes. They don't know what they want. They'll, cheer for Cody Rhodes for 2 years, 3 years, and the night of the PLE that more than likely is going to lose, and they turn on him. It's like that's why the internet wrestling community is one of the worst. Again, a lot of followers, not a lot of leaders, and a lot of people that just, they think they know, but they don't. Not a lot of originality.
LeBron James isn't attacking Stephen A. Smith when he makes comments about LeBron. They'll have a conversation about it, but it doesn't get physical. That's what happened here tonight. Well, what happened this weekend in Vegas was the fatal four-way that went Dirty Dom's way, and now that championship is his. Intercontinental.
I want to see Dom rocking the Bones look, like the skeleton suit, skeleton gear.
But he proved to the world last night, the three of the best in the game, that he could win
championship, and he did just that. Meanwhile, you were on the call for this fatal four-way. I thought that the luchador sensation, Penta looked great. He was at his offensive best with a very good tackle. He to driver on Finn Balor, only to have Braun Breaker save the day. Then hit the Mexican destroyer on Dominic himself. That's the day. Dominic Judgment Day. Finn Balor was actually out and supported now, which I find a little I wasn't expecting. It's interesting last night as Tom's on the early attack here as he came to our post-show set from thousands of fans outside Allegiant Stadium, Michael. And he was not bashful about celebrating the moment. He said, I solidified myself. So people said, I'll never be as good as your dad. He said, I'm not the greatest Mysterio of all time. And this is exactly the explosive.
Nice little Hurricane Rana there by Penta. Can't wait to, get to the point where we get MJF in WWE. Whenever that day may come.
Wow, that is a massive statement considering the longevity of the Hall of Fame. You sit here and you say we got a quick turnaround for the Intercontinental Championship. You wonder who that favors. And Michael, I would offer this.
And we're already at 7:25, so unless the match ends in like 5 minutes, where I guess it could, but maybe we'll be going over the 2 hour and 30-minute time limit. That they said there was no limit, but it seems like almost every Raw on Netflix is stopped around that time period, but hopefully we'll go a little bit over. High risk by Penta. Also, it shows you how good Penta is, being part of a tag in the Lucha Bros and being able to go singles like main event Jey Uso. Not every single individual, can do that, but another guy that I really want to see in a singles run where they have fumbled the bag, Montez Ford. Montez Ford could be, a champion, IC champion, heavyweight champion. He's good on the mic. He's got the aura. He's got the vibe. He's got the skills. He's got the moves. And I get it. You have a tag partner, but again, at some point, when are we going to get Montez Ford on the singles push? They definitely dropped the ball on that, and hopefully they pick it up and they use it because he's too good not to be able to be utilized that way, at least at some point in his career. But you do see some tags. There's a strong person and then kind of the other guy, And it's not like the other guy sucks, but it's just like they're probably not going to be able to go on a long-term, solo run and get, the support from the fans. So.
Last week's leftovers. Can't escape the doom scroll. Laundry, body dirty. Bring the juice, fools. Bring the juice. Time to bring the juice. Every day feels like Monday. Bring the juice.
Subway's got a new meal of the day.
Like Angelo Dawkins, he makes a good, tag partner with Montez Ford, but I don't think anyone could ever see him making a run by himself. So, but also that also puts you in a position where when someone really needs you, and then, sometimes they're just kind of stuck with the whole tag concept, because if they break it up, then what do you do with the other guy? He's just getting paid and not being on TV. So kind of a tough situation to be able to, be able to manage talent, even though one of the two maybe has something special. But
or should I say, Overlord Roots?
Yeah, you got me.
You like playing the villain, raiding villages,
Well, everyone else is all bad these days.
destroying what others have worked so hard to build.
It's how you play the game, Rhea. It's nothing personal.
Then let me ask you, have you checked your kingdom lately?
My village? No.
Back here in Vegas, the Miami Law. It's up. Challenging Dirty Tom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship.
And look at him rally here. 24 hours after Dom Mysterio from the fatal four-way. Being in on that target. Right to the cover.
2 count. Finn ringside, Carlito ringside, and Penta and Dom for the IC championship. There we go, Dom. 2.
Unique circumstances as to why Paul and I are here ringside to call this championship match. Gunther moments ago had a vicious exchange with Michael Cole and Matt McAfee. Ended up a rear naked chokehold.
Okay, Dom. There we go. And that's the cool thing about Dom, you know, being so raw that, you know, every once in a while he's going to do a move or two in a match where you're like, oh, I didn't know if he had this in him. You know, and obviously some moves are going to be, you know, during the match. Some are going to be like signature moves and whatnot. But Dom has definitely progressed quite a bit in the last couple of years. Still will be better on the mic in a few years and in the ring, but he's on his way. That's for damn sure. Oh, shit. Dom fucking bounced his head off the back there. Oh. Nice Hurricane there. I don't know if Dom's head was supposed to bounce off the buckle there. Oh! Nice to Mexican Destroyer.
Oh! Just when he thought things were rolls out of the ring. Intercontinental champion. First singles title in the career of Dom Mysterio. Just take care of business for me, will you please?
Finn botching the Hurricane Rana. Come on, Finn. What happened to your boy, Lenny? Botched move. Botcharama. Botch City. It's a botch party. JD, huh? JD is back with the broken ribs. Okay. Bang! 619. I don't think we expected JD to be back this soon. Frog splash. Uh-oh, it might be over. They're like, we're running over time. We got to end it. Hurry. They're like, we're over time. 3 minutes. Hell yeah. I'm glad JD is back. Obviously, probably not cleared to wrestle yet, but I mean, he looks in good spirits and in shape, but I was under the impression that JD was going to be out for quite a bit longer. But, you know, making an in-ring appearance and wrestling are two different things, but cool to see him back. He took a hell of a fall when he ended up falling back into the announce table and whatnot. Great to see him. Judgment Day looking a little bit more complete now with JD back. Finn looks so, I mean, obviously, you know, you can already tell where the feud is going, but, you know, it doesn't really come across as the leader. Yeah, we already know that's where it's going. And then loser gets kicked out at Judgment Day. But if Finn gets kicked out of Judgment Day, let's say it goes that route, right? And then what's next for Finn after that? The Demon? Like, where are we going if Finn loses to Dom and Dom's the new leader? Like, where do we go with Finn Balor after that? And we're still going. I thought this show would be over by now. We're not going 3 hours on the Raw after Mania, are we? We got 25 minutes to go. It doesn't look like we're ending yet. Interesting. We're going 3 hours? We haven't gone 3 hours since it hit Netflix. I don't know. I mean, I guess it really just depends on how many things that they want to cover that happened over, the 2 days. Yeah, I mean, Judgment Day, it used to be like the coolest faction in WWE and in wrestling, and without Ripley and Damian Priest, it's kind of lame. Like, I know it's a faction and whatnot, but it doesn't have that same aura and vibe without the two best people on it. Kind of like how they fucked up Undisputed Era. That was a great faction. Oh, my boy Seth.
Miles of flavor. Those crispy peaks. 12 flavors so bold, your whole life. Dipped in the lake. Man, that ranch is deep. Bring the flavor. Wingstop.
It's nice. It's nice to have.
Just chill. Maybe you just made a Snickers ice cream.
Today, she's watching her first hockey game. And then before you know it, you're watching hers. At Credit One Bank, we believe having the credit and rewards for the little moments today can lead to even bigger ones tomorrow. Get 5% cash back on everyday purchases, like gas, with the Credit One Bank Platinum X5 Visa Signature. Credit One Bank, for what's ahead.
Here's your iPhone 13 on us.
Time to switch.
Total sketch with you. Hey, good luck tonight.
Total Wireless is in your corner with unlimited 5G data starting at $25 per month.
Hey, fam, it's on tonight.
Diego, it's on. Plus America's only 5-year price guarantee with taxes and fees included.
Hey, Diego, on.
It's on.
With iPhone 13 with 5G on us with an amazing camera to capture the biggest moments. Total Wireless.
Hey, did you find the manual?
Yes, of course I found it.
Something Dale!
Who's Dale?
Oh, yes, woman.
I'm Dale. American Home Show now provides video chat with live repair experts for home fixes over the phone. Let's go fix that up.
Okay, Dale.
I need my phone back. Fix it over video chat with American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com. We all bring something different to the table. Ben's original. We're all original recipes.
It's not a huge flaw. It's not like experiencing genre of fear.
No, I totally understand. You just got to keep yourself, busy with us and with work and, with the pup and, just a difficult situation overall. But again, I know with me, going through ups and downs and whatnot, always being on a routine and keeping busy, that's the best medicine. Being around people that care and love about you, and and just keeping on a nice, steady routine, keeping busy, and things will, obviously never going to be, what it was from before, but slowly, each day things will get slightly easier. Let's go, my boy. Looking icy and all yellow.
There's a lot, that I'd love to say about Rollins and Heyman. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself tonight. Michael, it was 2 weeks ago tonight that you were right here when Seth Rollins would stop Paul Heyman.
Seth should be the face of the company. And again, it could have been like that years ago, but they did the whole bloodline thing. But now with the whole bloodline thing all said and done, it's time for my boy to be able to get the shine that he has deserved for years and years and years and years. Facts. Again, the modern day Macho Man Randy Savage, and you're looking at it right now. Roman might have been the Hulk Hogan, but great to be able to see Seth in the spotlight. And Seth is so great, he doesn't even need gold to, put on a great promo or put on great matches. But he's one of those guys, it's like you almost feel, I don't know, something kind of feels like off when he doesn't have gold because he's so fucking good.
The winner of the historic triple threat match.
Oh, yeah. And again, if we're going to go with Rollins, we need heel Rollins and heel Heyman to the extreme, like something that we haven't seen before. And I'm here for it. I mean, we obviously seen Seth turn on the Shield, and we've seen a couple different heel runs by Seth, but with Heyman, we could make it darker and kind of take it to a whole nother level, which would be good for the business. And the thing is about Seth, though, even though him a heel, he's still going to be cheered. It's like NWO, when you're over, no matter how, dark things get, like, he's a one-on-one. Jay, yeah, that would be a good way because Jay is super over. And who do you want to go against if you're going to go heel? The guy that's the most over. That would make sense for sure. And even with the whole yeeting and everything, Seth has got, even though Jay is the hot thing right now, Seth has got probably more fans, overall. Like Jay is hot right now, but if we're looking at whole career, Seth is in a different category. Seth is like Roman. He's like at the top. So not saying that main event Jey Uso isn't, he's, a tag wrestler that got put into singles and has got gold for the first time, but let's not mistake the two. They are on different levels in this wrestling game that we call WWE. Yeah, Seth and Jay would be good. I would agree with that for sure. Because if you're going to go heel, you can't go against another heel. You got to find the person that's the most over. And obviously Cody Rhodes isn't around, But seeing a feud with Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, people like that, that's what you want to see. It's funny. I have a friend, Grady, that looks exactly like Seth Rollins.
I am a visionary. I took a wise man from Roman Reigns. I stole CM Punk's best friend. I am the winner.
And I assume after Paul Heyman is done with Seth Rollins and they have their, run, I would assume Braun Breaker will be the next Paul Heyman guy after Seth is done with Paul. That would be the natural progression in my eyes. And here comes CM Punk. And I love this feud because they truly don't like each other. So it's like, not just kayfabe and it's not just, wrestling. Like they truly do not like each other, and they just have to try to be civil while they're working. CM Punk is kind of like the Aaron Rodgers of the NFL, in WWE, a little misunderstood, not liked by everyone. Maybe more liked here in the business than Aaron Rodgers is in the NFL, but I think that's like kind of the closest example I can think of. Controversial, liked by some, loved by others, but not by everyone universally. I'm just loving the fact that we went past 2 hours and fucking 30 minutes. You kidding me? But I got to see Braun Breaker as the next Paul Heyman guy after the Seth Rollins run is over with him. I got to. Goodbye. And also, I'm curious to see what persona we get out of Seth, what new catchphrase, what new gear, what new logos, what new, teas are going to come out, and obviously Paul Heyman as well. Like, the direction, because if you notice with Paul, he's going to be different, with each guy. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and then now with Seth Rollins. Oh, now we're ending. And then say we want Roman.
We are going to conclude the weekend of WrestleMania 41 by propelling the news all the way to WrestleMania 42. There is a new reigning, defending, undisputed number one top star in this entire industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Freaking Rollins.
And they don't even have to use the Seth freaking Rollins part anymore. They took it out of the bio, on the website and whatnot. Now here's Roman. Makes me also kind of want that dream scenario where Kenny Omega comes over or Will Ospreay, and then we get Will Ospreay and Seth Rollins. I feel like that's probably the most epic, dream match, because Ospreay is one of the top dogs in the business right now. He is, based on his wrestling skill set, there's not very many that are on the Ospreay level. But I don't know if those guys will ever come over to WWE. Probably more likely that MJF comes over. And here comes Roman. They already kind of ran the credits there at the bottom of the screen. I wonder if that was a little premature. They're like, we're going to end the show. No, we got to wait for Paul to talk and Roman to enter. Ooh, ah. Yeah, baby. Braun and Roman one-on-one. Let's go. Or Braun's going to be joining with Paul Heyman. I told y'all, Braun Breaker is the next guy, whether it's now or down the road when Seth is done. That's the next Paul Heyman guy. Let's go. Braun is a part of the clique, baby. Braun, Seth, Paul Heyman. Your boy's got the ESP, baby. I'm telling y'all, they're building it. Your boy is smart. I'm not going to be right about everything, but when I know, I know. And Braun definitely gives you, that, Brock Lesnar kind of vibe, Scott Steiner vibe, Rick Steiner vibe. And, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah. I love factions, baby. Oh. You got the bodyguard enforcer. You got the wise man on the mic. And then you got one of the best all around modern day Macho Man Randy Savage in the ring, baby. The math is mathing. Bang. Like this would have been, obviously we ended up getting Heyman with the swerve on the 2. But I love the fact that they ended up doing Braun this early. Oh. Great faction, man. And it's not often that you can have like exactly the right people a part of something special. You got the greatest manager of all time who spits on the mic. You got the modern day Randy Savage in the middle, and then you got the enforcer, the bodyguard, a Brock Lesnar type that's on the up and up as well. And then it also will open to a point where Paul Heyman and Braun can screw over Seth, and you can go down that storyline path as well. Because Braun is going to be the next Heyman guy after Seth. Great Raw after WrestleMania, one of the best that we've seen in a long fucking time. Well, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be live tomorrow at 3:45 Pacific for the Mariners and the Red Sox. If you have nothing going on, come through and hang out with your boy. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatic, Sarah, Calvin. Appreciate the two of you, as well as Reefer and Odin from yesterday. Appreciate you guys very much. Have a great rest of your Monday night. And Lenny, Odin, Sarah, all y'all, appreciate you. It's been fun. I love you guys, and I am out. Gang.